There was a moment in his life he never forgot. He was standing in a small room, surrounded by people who seemed confident, capable, and prepared. Everyone else spoke with certainty. Everyone else looked like they knew exactly what they were doing. And then there was him, silent, careful, afraid, not because he didn't have ideas, not because he wasn't interested, but because he was terrified of one thing: being seen as bad. Bad at explaining, bad at understanding, bad at starting. And in that moment he chose silence. That decision might seem small, but it was the first of many. He stopped raising his hand, stopped asking questions, stopped trying new things in front of others. Every time an opportunity appeared, his ego whispered the same warning. What if they see you fail? What if you look stupid? What if you're not as good as they think you are? So he waited, and waited, and waited, until someday quietly turned into never. Most people don't realize this, but the ego is not loud. It doesn't scream. It doesn't shout. It protects. It tells you it's safer to stay where you are. It tells you embarrassment is dangerous. It tells you failure is something to avoid at all costs. And slowly, without noticing, you build a life around avoiding discomfort. Not because you're lazy, but because your ego is fragile. Years later, he watched someone else do the thing he had always wanted to try. They weren't perfect. They stumbled over words. They made mistakes. Sometimes they clearly didn't know what they were doing, but they kept going, and that confused him, because everything inside him said, if I'm not good, I shouldn't begin. Yet here was proof that beginning badly was still beginning. That's when the realization hit him. Most people's egos are so inflated and so fragile that they won't allow others to see them be bad at something. Not because they lack ability, but because they confuse performance with identity. If I fail, I am a failure. If I struggle, I am weak. If I don't know, I am not enough. So instead of learning, people hide. He started noticing it everywhere. The talented friend who never shared their work. The intelligent colleague who never asked questions. The creative person who never posted anything. So much potential, locked behind the fear of being seen unfinished. People didn't lack talent. They lacked permission. Permission to be beginners. One day he finally tried. Not confidently, not gracefully, but honestly, and it was uncomfortable. His voice shook. He made mistakes. He felt exposed, but something unexpected happened. The world didn't end. No one laughed the way he feared. No one remembered his mistakes the next day. No one cared as much as his ego said they would. And slowly, that fear began to lose its power. Here's the truth most people learn too late. Being bad at something is not a sign you should stop. It's a sign you're exactly where learning begins. Every person you admire once embarrassed themselves doing the same thing. They just didn't quit when their ego felt uncomfortable. The ego wants to look good. Growth wants to feel real. And you can't have both at the same time. If you choose ego, you stay safe but small. If you choose growth, you will look foolish, but you will move forward. He began to understand something deeper. Confidence is not the absence of fear, it's the result of surviving it. The people who look confident today are not fearless. They're just familiar with discomfort. They've failed enough times to stop taking it personally. So let me ask you something. What are you avoiding? Because you don't want to be seen as bad at it? What version of yourself is waiting on the other side? Of embarrassment? Not the perfect version, not the polished one. The honest one. Because one day, you'll look back and realize the moments that changed your life were never the ones where you looked impressive. They were the moments you allowed yourself to begin. Without guarantees, most people protect their ego and lose their potential. A few choose discomfort and discover who they really are. So be bad, be awkward, be a beginner. Not because it feels good, but because it leads somewhere. And that's something the ego will never understand.